Good morning, Keller Williams in Denton. This is Melanie Bono coming back at you again this week with the Agent Spotlight segment. This week, the spotlight is shining down brightly on the very witty Thomas Eaves. Thank you for joining me.
What an introduction.
I know. Witty, I mean, that's pretty.
Witty. That was the best thing you could think of to say.
I think so, yes.
I like it. Okay.
Something I haven't already used.
Thank you.
So a little bit about Thomas. He is a buyer's agent on Wheelhouse Realty. Their office is upstairs, next door in the annex, and I think they do an hour of coaching sessions at some point during the week. It's outside their office. Make sure you give that a look-see. Come in, ask them any questions you have, and they're more than willing to help you, right?
That's right.
Perfect. All right. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. So how long have you been in real estate?
We're knocking on 3 years now.
Okay. Do you remember the specific month?
Oh, good Lord. I think it was probably August. It was when everything was dying down. Yeah, I'm really, really good with timing. So I've been doing it for about 3 years, and prior to that, I was actually managing a local pizza restaurant. I've had way more jobs than anybody my age should possibly have, so I won't go any further back than that.
That's true, yes. He was my boss. Fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact, back in the day. So anyway, so I did all that, and yeah.
Yeah?
That was it.
So who brought you into real estate?
So my grandmother was actually a realtor for Century 21 in Houston for years and years and years. My sponsor is actually Beth Caudill. I lived in one of her rental properties for 4 years before I got into the business.
Oh, Beth, I did not know that.
That's right, yeah.
Huh, interesting. So what's it like being a member of a team, especially versus being an individual agent?
Well, fortunately, I'm afforded the benefit of being on a team where I get to really function as an individual agent. I take listings and I work with buyers. I kind of get to run my own business, but I get all the benefits of the systems and the leverage and the infrastructure of being on a team.
Okay.
So I could list advantages and disadvantages of being on a team or being an individual agent all day long. Really, I think that if going on a team, which by the way, I never thought I'd be on one. Never thought I'd be on a team. But if ever that opportunity approaches itself, I think that everybody joins real estate for their own reasons, but it all falls into 3 categories. It's freedom, flexibility, and wealth. And if you can find a team environment that offers you all 3 of those things, it's probably a pretty good opportunity.
Freedom, flexibility,
Freedom, flexibility, and wealth. And I found that if you ever go towards a team that tries to take any of the 3 away from you, then that's not going to be a good fit, and you're doomed to be unhappy.
Okay, wow. That's an awesome piece of advice, especially for those of y'all looking to join a team or for those of you looking to grow your team also. So what's been your most successful year in these past 3 years?
It's a loaded question, but I'm basing my most successful year purely off of feeling. The year that I had the best feeling about what I had done was 2014. 2014 was my first calendar year in real estate. And during that year, I made double what I had ever made before that. I was able to afford my very first home and a lot of other nice things. Not that it's all about possessions, it's not. But the feeling of accomplishment and entrepreneurial spirit during that year, not to sound cheesy, was remarkable. And so every year we've built on that. So it's like I've had more financially successful years since then. But the feeling of that first year, going from doing something like managing pizza to being a homeowner and doubling their income was that was a remarkable feeling.
That's awesome. Good for you. Well, that's awesome. What systems or strategies do you implement to make sure that you stay productive?
Oh, the same systems as everybody else. Procrastination and excuse making.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm sort of kidding, but if you're an agent, you kind of know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Being on the team that I am, we actually have some really fantastic systems, and I also have a CRM, which is a customer relationship management system that allows me to reach out to people in certain ways and forms of media that most agents don't have access to. And I'm able to reach out to those people, and the real name of the game is follow-up, and this actually allows us to follow up with people in unique ways, depending on their situation, the type of contact info we have. And I think you know that if you've looked at anything through Wheelhouse Realty, video like this is extremely important.
They have their own green screen, their own studio setup.
We do. We're really good in the video infrastructure. So we really do like to reach out to our prospects via video, which we found has been very lucrative.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, and they're actually pretty hilarious. Also, y'all should definitely give those a look if you ever get a spare minute or 2.
We try.
It's great. Okay, so what's your favorite Keller Williams memory?
You know, not to get too into the queso here, but whenever I first joined Keller Williams Realty, and it was a fight between this and another brokerage. I mentioned Century 21 earlier. My grandmother was, so it was just kind of natural. I was like, this is where my grandmother was, so it must be a good place. I sat down and met with Rebecca, and I was... I was sold pretty early on, and what I noticed is that they really do practice what they preach, because I came on board, and there was not a single door in this building that I could not go into and ask a question and get a serious, honest, helpful answer. And I ended up bonding with these people for hours and hours and hours, not just staff member, not just the coach that was supposed to be helping me, just independent agents that could have said, you need to go to the next door. And I bonded with these people for hours, and that's where I really realized that this was a company that had the theory of what is it? Raising a rising tide will raise all ships. That's what it is. So it was the culture. It was the culture of the company in that first year when I first got here, and I just had no clue what was going on. I didn't know how to ask a question simple enough. These people took care of me. That's why I'm still here, and that's why I won't go anywhere.
That's great. Okay, deal. So on I guess more fun note. Or it can be more fun if you choose to make it that way. We'll see what happens. What's a real estate mistake that you've made that you learned your lesson from, obviously?
Well, it wasn't fun at the time. I can look back on it and laugh now. Whenever I was very early on in my career, I was going after listings, specifically for sale by owners, which I still dabble in. But I went very, very hard after this particular client over in Little Elm, and I actually competed with another agent in this office, and I won the listing. And I got it, and then I learned, the lesson that I learned there, if I had to put it into a sentence, was not all business is good business. These sellers were crazy, to the point that they actually tried to saw through our super box. We still have it in our office.
Oh, that's exciting. I've heard that story before, I think.
Right, yeah. So not all business is good business. So from that point forward, I've always worked to qualify my leads. I don't work with just anybody that has legs. And I work with a very specific group of people that that I can actually achieve what they're looking for. But that was far more heartache than what it was worth.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. You definitely learned your lessons on that.
I did.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have to keep these videos short.
Sure.
What's the last piece of advice or wisdom you want to leave the rest of the office with today?
Well, I'll keep it very short and sweet. It's not to overcomplicate things. Not to overcomplicate things. Success in real estate is simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. We're very fortunate to be a part of a company that has laid out models and systems through multiple different forms of media. If you're a reader, it's there. If you're a video watcher, it's there. If you like to go to seminars, it's there. That lay out a very, very specific strategy for success. If you follow it, you will be successful. You won't be able to help it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have, I think, more educational opportunities by far than any other company.
Right.
Awesome.
I would agree.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me, Thomas.
Of course, my pleasure.
Great. It's always fun talking with them for sure. Make sure you tune in next week with our Agent Spotlight video. And coming soon, I think I'm going to actually start doing some videos on some of our lovely vendors at the office, kind of give you an opportunity to get to know them better. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you comment and like the video below and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's very important, right?
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
See, smile and nod. I love it. All right, we'll see you next week.